Welcome to Pet Sitter Confessional, an open and honest discussion about life as a pet sitter. Today, we're brought to you by our friends at Time to Pet and Pet Perennials. Today, we're really excited to have Jenn Wegener, owner of Dreaming Tree Pets, on the show to talk about her journey into pet care, how she focuses and works through the tough times, and how she stays on top of her clients' changing expectations so that she continues to serve them well. Jenn, I'm really excited to have you on the podcast. For those who aren't familiar with you or follow you along with you already, please tell us a little bit more about who you are and what you do.
Well, first, Collin and Megan, thank you so much for having me. I'm really excited to be here. So my name is Jenn Wegener, and I'm the owner of Dreaming Tree Pet Services. I service a South Tulsa area of Bixby and Jinx, and it's kind of a smaller outside town of Tulsa. And I've been doing pet sitting for about 25 years. Took a break from it for a little while and decided to get back in the groove of it. And I became a certified professional pet sitter about 2-3 years ago. And then I also got my certification in pet CPR. And so I just offer pet sitting, dog walking. I do overnight stays. And I just recently started servicing and offering mobile nail trims.
Oh, okay. Now, my very first question, actually, my follow-up to that, Jenn, is tell me about the name. Where did the name for your business come in? Because it's very unique. I was like, okay, there's got to be a story behind this.
Okay, so there's a couple of things. It's hard to explain too. So my brother, actually years ago, he was playing a song in his truck one day, and I was like, "Who is that?" And he's like, "That's Dave Matthews Band." And I said, "Oh wow, pretty cool." And so they have a song called "Dreaming Tree," and so when I was changing the name of my business years ago, I had the name of Clear Spring Pet Services, but I wanted to do something different when I moved to Tulsa. And so I got with my cousin, who's also like my brother, and we were just going back and forth with names. And we tried hundreds of different names and ideas, and this one just kind of stuck. And so it's a way of paying homage to my brother, who actually has passed away now. And this name just felt fitting to just kind of remember him in a way, and how I got to know that band and love that song that they have. And so music and pets put all together, along with remembering my brother. That's kind of how the name came about.
That's really special. I think that just speaks a lot to, I mean, this is a really personal business for you then.
It is. And I've loved pets and animals and since I was a kid, and I never really thought that I would ever get into something like this, as far as pet sitting. But I think about my brother a lot when I'm off doing pet sits. He was a big animal lover too. And so it's I guess a way to still kind of have a little bond with him.
So you've been doing this for 25 years. What got you started in the business?
Well, probably like most people, I just kind of started pet sitting for people here and there when I was in college. And then I ended up getting a job as a veterinary technician, and I was a vet tech for about 13 years. And, when you're at a hospital, you get to know your clientele base, and you start to become fond of certain animals that come in and out. And my first official pet sit was, I just had a couple come in with their dog, and they said, "Hey, our daughter's getting married and we need to do something with our dog. And hey, would you mind watching them?" I was like, "Sure." And fast forward a few years later, I live in San Antonio. I'm working for a mobile veterinarian. She was the only mobile vet in San Antonio. And somehow I crossed paths with a mobile groomer. I think the mobile setup was starting to become a thing back then. There was never mobile groomers or mobile veterinarians around. And so anyway, I met up somehow, I don't even remember how, crossed paths with this mobile groomer. and she was needing help with some dog bathing and some other things. And she also did pet sitting. And she invited me to my first ever Pet Sitters International conference. And it was here in San Antonio. And I had no idea it was even a thing. I didn't even know that professional pet sitting was anything at all. And so going to my very first conference, I was blown away that people were doing this full time as a business. They had staff, they had a big clientele base, they did marketing. I was just shocked that there was even a conference for professional pet sitters. And so that's how I really discovered that this is a business and it's growing, and that kind of led me into, hey, maybe I could do this on the side too. And so that's kind of how I got started into the business of pet sitting.
So we have to blame your friend then, is that right? Blame the groomer that this is all their fault.
Yes, and I will say her name. Her name is Robin Hartle, and I thank her every day for inviting me to that conference. It was just an amazing experience, and I learned so much.
Well, and what I love about that is, many times we start a business, we're interested in a business, and we start it from kind of where we are currently. And what you're talking about there, Jenn, is like the importance of stepping outside of yourself so that you can see other possibilities. Now, it can be pretty overwhelming sometimes when we do that, but that's important. That's an important process to continually do so that you're always thinking about kind of the next thing, or how could I tweak this, or what would I do to make this a little bit better? Because if we only trust on what we know right when we start, right, we never can really grow or go beyond, what we have already.
That's absolutely right. And I felt like I had the pet sitting part of it down. I was very comfortable working with animals, being a vet tech. I knew the signs to look for if there was an injury or an illness or something just wasn't right in a senior dog. And so it was, I think, more of the business side that I didn't know anything about. And, you know, how do you even get started? How do you, budget for this? How do you do any of that? So I was like complete novice, had no idea how to get started. I just knew I was really good at the pet sitting part of it.
Well, I definitely
had that down.
Yeah. Well, so I was curious, you vet tech for 13 years. How do you think that's helped you run your business and connect with your clients and serve them?
Well, just having that experience as a vet tech gave me a huge advantage when I started pet sitting, because like I said, I already had the tools and the knowledge and even some instincts that kind of kick in to catch something that's just not right in a pet, or if they're getting sick, and you know how to look for their waist, and if that's looking right, or vomit, all the gross things sometimes you don't want to talk about. And it just gave me, to get more clients, it just gave me more credibility that I had that experience. And it really gave clients peace of mind that they kind of knew what I was doing, and that I'm just not going to be hanging out with, their pet. Um, I am closely monitoring them as well. And I think that is very important with anyone pet sitting, even if it's just, for your neighbor, or, you're doing it professionally. Sometimes you don't know what you don't know. If you have an animal that's, they hide their pain so well. And so it that just really gave me an advantage to just have all that training ahead of time so I could just be better.
Did you find that it skewed your clients to those who were more medically needy from the beginning, or were you kind of just taking whoever came across and needed your services?
No, it didn't really bring senior animals or some that have diabetes and need insulin. I just took anyone that was interested in services, and if I was able to do it, I would do it. I am still working on saying no sometimes. It was hard. I still have a hard time saying no sometimes to people.
Yeah, I do too. So hi, welcome.
Yeah.
My name's Collin. I can't say I don't say no to people. But
Yeah.
what hearing that about how the vet tech side, it sounds like, it gave you a leg up in a lot of the, like you said, the skills, the tool sets, the knowledge, the instincts, but also the language, right? So it gave you a lot of ways to just talk with clients about issues and how to overcome them. And because that's a big barrier a lot of times with clients is when we're educating them on things that we're seeing, concerns that we have to be really clear about how we're speaking about those. Because if they do take our concerns and go to a vet or go to a trainer or go to a groomer, they have to be set up for success to be able to talk the talk and have that industry jargon so that they know where to get help and how to communicate that.
That's absolutely right. And I do find myself having to, I guess, counsel a lot of my clients. They have questions, and sometimes I'm the first person that they will reach out to if they see anything wrong. But I always try to tell them, well, I'm not a vet, but here's what I think might be going on. And sometimes I'm able to give them, a home remedy to try. Like, hey, my dog just ate a squeaker out of a toy. What do I do? And, sometimes you can remedy that with just a tablespoon of hydrogen peroxide down their throat, and they'll throw it up and you're good to go. You don't have to spend $1,000 at the vet. But again, I always preface, hey, I'm not a veterinarian, but this might be going on. But I'm very careful sometimes when I ask questions on a pet, on what they need to do.
Well, that's a good point too, because we often develop relationships with our clients where they do thankfully view us as an authority figure and as a person who has their stuff together and knows. But if we're not careful, they won't go get a second opinion, or they won't go do something, because if we're honest, like, we're way easier. I think it's important. We're way easier to access than a vet in a lot of cases. How many, they can call you, they can text you at most hours of the day, and we're going to respond. Hey, let me just get that really quick. And so it's easier for them to come to us for those questions. But like what you're saying, Jenn, we have to have that huge old caveat over here being like, but also, I'm not a vet. You need to go talk to yours, to make sure that we're continuing to point them back to good resources and stuff. When we go, that's outside of my knowledge and skill set and where I'm comfortable speaking to, now is time for you to go somewhere else. And you really do need to, and that builds a lot of trust too within the community of, if we're referring things to trainers, to vets, to groomers, to whomever, other sitters and dog walkers, like, that builds trust among them because they know that we're sending them to the places where they need to be.
Yes, that's right. And sometimes you just have to tell them, don't wait too long, because sometimes they just want to wait it out. Well, see how we're doing in the morning. Well, sometimes a pet doesn't have that much time, depending on what the situation is, especially with senior animals. I don't like to wait too long with them, but sometimes the parents want to just wait it out a little bit longer. Sometimes they think maybe the pet might just shake it off. They'll be okay. And sometimes they are. They're just having an off day like we have. So you never know. It's a fine line sometimes.
I mean, that's something that we encounter just even as business owners sometimes, of whether we're dealing with a problem client or we have an issue in business. Sometimes our first reaction is, well, I'm just going to wait and see. Let me just wait and see what happens with this. And that's a great tactic in a lot of cases. But also, sometimes we just need to act. Sometimes we do have to just do something, mostly to get it over with and start moving it forward. I definitely am the kind that is like, hey, there's a problem here and this client is experiencing this. Let me just wait and see if they complain again, right? That's honestly a lot of what I have. I'm like, well, if they play it again, if they bring it up again, well, sure, I'll address it then. What I've had to learn over the last many years, and because I'm a slow learner, for being honest, it takes me a minute to get through my head, is no, the first time, let me just go ahead and address that. Or let me speak to this, or let me go learn more about this the first time it comes up so that I don't have to have those pain points keep coming back to me.
Yes, sometimes I won't have the answer, and I'm not afraid to tell them, you know what, I don't know the answer to that, but let me do some research and I'll get back to you. I just most recently had a client who took their Labradoodle to a groomer, and within minutes of walking into the grooming building, the dog started foaming at the mouth and completely collapsed and passed out in fear.
Oh my gosh.
And and so she called me immediately and told me what was going on and what had happened. And um, we kind of walked through that. I had to calm her down. And long story short, the dog turned out being okay, but we think that he might have been exposed to something that he was highly allergic to that might have been in that grooming facility. And so I started researching mobile groomers for her, or groomers that were closer, that specialize in dogs or cats with really high anxiety when they're groomed. And we spent kind of an afternoon doing that together, but we found some good resources and we found some good alternatives for her to try. And I even found a mobile groomer and a mobile veterinarian for her if she ever needed one.
Have you heard of Time to Pet? Susan the Pet Gal has this to say. Welcome to Pet Sitter Confessional, an open and honest discussion about life as a pet sitter. Today, we're brought to you by our friends at Time to Pet and Pet Perennials. If you're looking for new pet sitting software, give Time to Pet a try. Listeners of our show will save 50% off your first 3 months by visiting timetopet.com/confessional. Jenn, why is it important for you to spend that kind of time? I mean, you just said you spent an afternoon doing this. Why was it important for you to do that?
Well, because I take a lot of pride in caring for other people's homes and their pets. And I take care of them like they're my own. And something that I hear from my clients a lot that means more than anything to me is, I trust you. I've started to use a student intern to do some pet sitting for me sometimes, and then I also have a contract pet sitter that will do some overnights for me on occasion. And some of my clients, when I talk to them about that, they trust me so much, they are okay to not even meet that person that's going to be doing the pet sitting job for them, because they say, Jenn, we trust you. And that's everything to me. That's just very important. Because, these animals are like our first children. They are our children in a lot of ways. And just to have that trust and confidence in my clients, it's just really important to me. And I think it really kind of keeps you motivated to continue, because we all know you can burn out in this industry really quick.
Mm-hmm.
And it doesn't take long. And so I feel like that keeps me going when I know that they just have full trust in me, and they don't worry a single bit when they're gone and I'm taking care of their pets, or one of my contractors are.
No, when we deal in the currency of trust, there's really no thing we shouldn't be doing to keep that and to garner that. And so
Yes.
If it takes spending a couple hours problem solving and finding a better solution, like a holistic solution to somebody to improve their quality of life, to improve the quality of life with their pet, like that's invaluable. You can't put a price on that. You can't say, well, in order for me to, I can imagine some people saying, okay, well, here's my consultation fee to problem solving on this. And sure, can you do this at scale?
Yeah.
Could you do this for 1,000 clients? No. No, you couldn't.
Mm-mm.
But you can do it while you can, and for those people who need it, and you can choose where you invest this time. And that's really the power of growing that kind of business and having that clientele, because you do become part of their family. Who else are they going to go to have them walk through that process, to know the questions to ask? I know that's a big one for us. I love equipping my clients. Hey, I can't tell you who the absolute best groomer is, but I can help you figure out who's going to be the best groomer for you. And here's the 10 questions. Here's the 10 questions you need to ask every groomer, to make sure that it aligns with what you're wanting and where your needs are. That all of a sudden, like, that is just because we kind of view it as, if I can improve this one area of life with your pet, you're more likely going to keep that pet around for a long time, and they're going to be a better quality of life for the rest of their life. And that's what everybody wants. Everybody wants that. So where can we find these moments, these little things that we can really do that add up to so much year after year after year?
Yes, and just that little extra time that you spend with a client might end up being 20 or 30 clients because they referred you to some other people just for spending that little extra time with them.
Yeah. And then we talk about the power of, okay, I need to grow my business. I need to have marketing. I need to do all this stuff. Well, I hear it time and time again, and we know it in our business. When you have a client referring you who's just like the champion of you only need one or two of those and your books are going to be filled. Like, genuinely. Like, if you have one person out there who is just raving about you at every opportunity, they're talking to the person at the grocery store line, they're talking to the person that's waiting in line to get their oil changed, they're talking to the person, like, that kind of person is so valuable to your company that, yeah, I'd spend a couple hours helping them find a groomer for them. Because if I know they're going to be like that, right? Like, and that's just investing in the person. Like, that really is the human side of our business that I think all too often we do lose sight of, especially when the nitty gritty in the day to day.
So I took a break from pet sitting for a little bit after I started my family. And then in about 2021, I started getting what I say the call again to get back into pet sitting. And the first thing that I did was I went right back to Pet Sitters International, and I got my membership. And then I got with Business Insurance of Carolina, and I got insured. And so once I had those two things down, I said, okay, I'm really doing this now. There's no turning back for now. And so, I really just started word of mouth. My mom has a Facebook neighborhood association page that they all post things on, and she kind of put my name out there, and immediately I got about 5 or 6 clients just in that neighborhood alone. And then word of mouth, it spreads really fast, and most of the time you're going to just get some really great clients from those referrals. But it's I've just been doing it part-time over the years, and so I've kind of purposely let it grow slowly, and it's really been a good balance. I've always been afraid, again, going back to that, I'm afraid to say no. I don't want to turn anybody down, and so I don't want to have too much business, which is never a bad thing, but I've kind of kept it slow and steady, where I could manage it. But so it's been pretty calm and slow, but the holidays are definitely starting to get busier. I'm already having one particular client. She'll book me for Christmas a year in advance. So I've had her on the book since last December or this upcoming December, because she wanted to make sure, because she has he's not a special needs dog, but he is a special dog, and nobody can watch him except for me. And it took me a couple of years just to get him to trust me enough to walk him on a leash.
Oh, wow.
And you would think it's a big, like, Great Dane or something, but it's this little Yorkie mix, and he's probably about 6 pounds, but he'll rip your face off. So I definitely had to build some trust with him by dog walking and stuff. And he tried to untie my shoes a few times, but we're good buddies now. And that's another, you just take that as a win. Sometimes you work really hard with a dog or a cat or whatever it might be, a bird that just only loves their people. They don't want anyone else in the house. They don't want to have any dealings with anyone else. And so that's a success story in itself when you can kind of break that wall down with an animal, and then they start to trust you again. And that's a great feeling also.
Now, you said you've kept the growth kind of intentionally slow. Is that because you weren't sure where you wanted the business to go, or you were just worried, like you said, about being overwhelmed? Or talk about that in the intentional step, because I think oftentimes we get in business and we go, well, I got to grow. I got to do everything that I can to just explode this. And you kind of went, well, actually, let me do this in a little bit different way. And I'm curious why you decided to really do that.
Well, it's a funny story. I was working in education. I had a full-time job already, but I have two boys, and they were in competitive sports. And if anyone out there has a child in competitive sports, you know how expensive it is. You know how much the travel ball is. You know how much the private lessons are. It's its own little beast. And so I think I just kind of got into this because I was missing the pet sitting, but I also thought, well, that'll just give me a little extra money for some hitting lessons or pitching lessons, or, that'll, get us a $400 baseball bat, So I think I had the full-time job already, and I just did this as a little extra. And so I think that's why I kept it kind of slow and steady for a little while.
Yeah. Going, what's my purpose for this business? I think that's a question that I don't see asked enough, right? A lot of people don't say, what do I want out of this? They kind of just go, well, I like being with pets, and so I'll just start this business. But they don't really think, what is this business going to do for me? And so I love that you were so intentional with that you knew exactly, okay, this is for this, and it's helped keep everything else and all of your decisions in alignment behind that, so it didn't get all squirrely and out of control on you suddenly.
Yes, it definitely just kind of kept it where it was, and I knew I could take a little more clients here. I can do some pet sits here, but yeah, I think I was afraid for it to get out of hand, because I like structure. I'm a planner. I like to try to keep things organized in that sense. And I didn't want to lose control, especially if you're trying to run a little side business.
Yeah. Well, so, I mean, if you've got a full-time job, you're doing travel ball, you're starting this business, how are you keeping things organized? Because I'm feeling a little stressed just thinking about all this, Jenn.
Well, shockingly, I don't have a software program that I use to keep track of my clients. I'm kind of old school, and I'm a solo pet sitter, and I just use a good old-fashioned day planner to stay organized. And I keep my pet sits in there. I look at it 3, 4, 5 times a day, even though I know what's going on for the day. I still look at it just in case. I don't want to miss anything. And that's how, I just I stay organized that way. I make my own invoices. I kind of created my own, and I just kind of keep it on my laptop. And I don't use like a digital calendar on my phone. I like to write it down. I like to have it on pen or pencil and look at it that way. So my day planner is with me wherever I go.
I found that even if I have stuff in a Google Calendar, an Apple Calendar, it's when I write it down in my daily notebook, or I've got a little pocket notebook that I keep with me everywhere, and a desk planner and stuff. It's when I write it down in there that I actually remember it, that it actually becomes real. And now it's like, okay, now I know what to do with that. And I think it's just finding those systems and those tools that go, what fits me for how I work, given what I need to get done. And again, that's a question that not enough people ask, is how do I work? How do I want to get things done? Instead, a lot of times, and myself included, I can get caught up in, hey, what's everybody else doing? And I'll just do that. But without realizing, but does that fit me, right? Is that how my brain works? Is that how I'm wired? Is that what I need to serve my clients well? And that level of intentionality really all of a sudden starts making it going, well, of course it's manageable because it's perfectly in alignment with who I am and how I operate. Like that, it kind of all just flows from that. Instead of having to fight to make a system work, we just find a system that works with us.
Yes. And these younger pet sitters, well, not necessarily younger pet sitters, but there are pet sitters out there that everything is digital, everything's on their phone. They've got a software program like Time to Pet that they use. And I love that. I love that they use that for their business. But I guess for me, I like to have just my good old fashioned day planner, because we all know technology doesn't always cooperate. And if I have it written down, but it's gotten lost in the cloud or whatever it might be in technology, or, you get a virus, well, that's a lot of appointments and numbers and addresses that I may have lost forever that I can't get back. So I even do my pet sitting contracts. I print them out and I have my clients fill them out. And I keep a paper track of that too.
Yeah. Well, yeah, technology is great until it's not, right? And so
right.
it's always yeah. If you're listening to this, the other lesson for this is have backups of things. Even if you think they're secure, have another backup somewhere.
Yes, for sure.
Now you've been pet sitting, you've been dog walking for 25 years. You've kind of started and stopped a couple times, and you're growing your business with intentionality. Jenn, how have your clients' needs and expectations changed over those years, and of you serving them?
Well, my clients, I've done pet sitting in 3 states. I kind of started in San Antonio, then we moved to Little Rock. We were there for 5 years. That's where I kind of really started pet sitting a little bit more. My business name at the time was Clear Spring Pet Services. And then we moved back to Oklahoma to be closer to family. And that's when I took a break. But everywhere I've been where I had clients, they're all just amazing. My clientele base, they're just amazing. The pets are amazing. I have noticed a trend of I seem to be getting a lot more senior pets. I'm seeing a lot of that actually, and have lost, unfortunately, about 5. 5 of my clients have lost a pet this year alone, and some of them have gotten a new friend. Some of them aren't ready yet, and that's okay too. But I have found that I seem to be again, where my tech skills come in. I have a cat actually that I see, and he's diabetic, so he has to have insulin twice a day. I have another one that is deaf, one that's blind. And so I have a handful of situations like that. And what I've tried to do is just keep up on my skills, researching how I can maybe, if I can't take them on a walk, then maybe I can bring in some enrichment activities for them, for their specific needs. Or I can get with a veterinarian who's going to let me come in and volunteer and just kind of let me refresh my skills on, diabetic animals and, insulin and what are some signs to look for when, they're having an issue. And so I have found that I'm starting to do that a little bit more with some senior pets.
You can't automate compassion, but you can make it easier to deliver. And that's where our friends at Pet Perennials come in. They're built just for this. Their sympathy and milestone gifts are designed for grieving pet parents, and they take the care of the fulfillment from start to finish so nothing falls through the cracks for you. For busy pet business owners, it's a simple system to scale kindness, nurture long-term client loyalty, and respond meaningfully to those difficult moments. Sign up for their free Gift Perks business account to receive discounted pricing with zero fees or minimums. Learn more at petperennials.com today. Now that you mention it, I'm actually thinking through several of our clients who, I think that with a lot of the medical practices and advancements in technology, pets are living a lot longer. But that does mean that they have different needs, and that 14-year-old dog is not going to need the same kind of interaction and same kind of visit as that 14-month puppy. And so we have to be adaptable to that and be looking for that knowledge and know, okay, well, I've got to change XYZ about this visit, or I need to ask XYZ kind of questions. And I think this kind of sounds like, Jen, you're going, okay, case by case basis. As you get a couple of requests in, you're automatically going out and making sure you fully understand the needs so that you can have that visit. And I love that you're able to go and work with the veterinary clinic and kind of refresh those skills and doing their enrichment stuff. It really sounds like, it's kind of sending you on a little scavenger hunt of skills and knowledge to meet the needs of your clients.
It has, and it's also been really great to network with other vet clinics and groomers, just to network and get referrals for each other too. But I think it's always great to kind of keep up with your skills, because if you don't use it, you lose it sometimes. With pets in general, you definitely want to make sure that you keep up with them and know, just I think having the confidence of just knowing what to do in any kind of situation makes me personally feel like a better pet sitter for myself and for my clients and the animals.
Well, okay, so that's a really great transition to one of my other questions that I had for you, because I know, and our listeners know too, that this can be really stressful. A lot of visits can be extremely stressful. And for you and in your years of experience, how do you stay calm in those tough and stressful situations and make sure that it's handled well?
Well, being a vet tech for all the time that I was, you just see everything. You see sometimes some really horrible, sad things. You see some gory things, and definitely, like, just even for example, you have an animal that comes in that's just been hit by a car. Well, that's an emergency situation. You could kind of lose control of your emotions in a situation like that. And I feel like being exposed to those types of things in a clinic setting really helps me to stay calm in stressful situations when it comes to a pet. And surprisingly, it helped me to be a calm parent when my children were smaller. We've had broken arms and busted our head open, and we've had stitches, and we've had some surgeries and all of those things. And some people, they struggle with the sight of blood, but for some reason, when I would see that, I would immediately go into calm mode, take action. Let's get that taken care of. And I think, just those skills really help me to stay calm and in tough situations, especially.
Well, so there's two parts of that. There's that exposure to the scenario, but all so maybe three. There's the exposure to the scenario, there's the experience of how to handle it, and then there's the confidence in the outcome, right? So it's like, as you see and experience different things, you're able to build that skill set of, okay, when XYZ happened, I did ABC, and then this thing came out of that. And so now that this new thing is happening, I can lean on those skills that I had before. And, whether that is in a vet clinic or whether that is through in-person trainings or pet first aid and CPR classes or everything, like, it's knowledge and experience that really we have to seek after, so that when those stressful things happen, we aren't the ones that are immediately freaking out and running around like a chicken with our head cut off.
Yeah, that's absolutely right. And I am very grateful that I I do kind of go into that like calm mode and fix it mode. And I don't like lose my mind and freak out over it. Um, and hopefully I won't ever have to have a situation where it's like a code red for a pet in a home. Knock on wood. I haven't really had to experience that, but I always felt like if I did, I was prepared, I was ready, and I can handle it.
Now, when you were first starting out as a vet tech, is that how you responded, or is this a skill again that you've learned and it's evolved over time?
Oh no, it's definitely evolved over time. I think in the beginning when I was just, wet behind the ears, didn't know what I was doing, and there would be an emergency situation come in. Yeah, I would kind of like freeze and just be in shock, like I don't even know what to do. And over time, yeah, that kind of dissipated, and I was able to just jump right in, take action. And so I'm glad that's gone, because in the beginning, I don't think I was a very good veterinary technician. So I definitely had to get more experience and just get better each time a new client would come in with something crazy. Because we've seen it all. If you've ever worked in a vet clinic, you definitely have seen things that you don't think you'd ever see. I guess maybe like an ER nurse at a hospital. We've seen it all.
Oh, well, so how do you, I mean, on those days, whether it's in the medical world or it's a pet sitting visit and it's just been one of those horrible days. I mean, how do you refresh yourself? Because the thing about what we do is there will always be tomorrow where somebody has pets where we are needed to show up and be at 100%. And so, how do you come home from a day of stressful visits and everything and make sure that you're recharging so that you can show up the next day?
Well, it's pretty simple for me. I just try to make it a quiet environment for myself. I'll take the hot shower, um, listen to music. I love music. It really feeds my soul, and I can't work without music being on. So I turn on some music, and um, to be honest, sometimes I'll just eat ice cream. Ice cream always makes things better.
Oh, okay. Well, I was gonna ask for some music recommendations, but now I got to know what kind of ice cream, so I can take notes on this.
Well, ice cream, I kind of go back and forth. Right now, I'm into mint chocolate chip, regular chocolate chip. Those are my two go-tos right now. Sometimes it might be Oreo, or just plain old chocolate, or a vanilla with chocolate syrup on it. But I try not to get too crazy with the ice cream.
Okay.
But frozen yogurt's good. I do like those too.
Yeah. The phrase that you said, Jen, about that was, you do things that feed your soul. You do things that are meaningful and impactful to you. And importantly, what those are. I think I know a lot of people really struggle to know what's going to feed them because we get so wrapped up in our business as our everything that all of a sudden it becomes the exclusion of everything and everyone. And without our business, without walking a dog, without billing a client, without writing notes, we don't know what to do with our time. And so finding ways to fully step out and separate and feed us as a person is really, really critical.
Yes, and I would say many people in this industry, we have a servant's heart. We like to take care of people. We like to take care of pets. And sometimes that definitely will make us just feel depleted, and we don't have anything left for ourselves. And I mean, we've all been there. I do that way more often than I should. I feel like I've given so much, and I don't take care of myself as much as I should, especially during the busy seasons. As a pet sitter, I think that comes with the territory of just go, go, go. And then you're just so exhausted when you get home. You just don't want to do anything except just collapse on your bed. But yeah, I think, and that's something that they talked about a little bit at this last conference was, you got to take care of you, or you can't take care of everyone else, and you can't take care of those pets that you love and then your clients. And so it's very easy to forget to take care of yourself doing what we do.
Yeah. And because most of the time we don't think it's important or necessary, right? We kind of hold up our hand and we say, "Oh, no, thank you." Right now, I'm good. I don't need that. I need to make sure I'm taking care of these other people and these other pets, because see how important that is. I don't have time to take care of myself. See how exhausted I am at the end of the day. See how I'm collapsing into bed. Like, that is definitely real. I know I fall into that, where it's like, it is 11:30 at night. I am finally collapsing into bed, and I haven't done a single thing for myself all day. And so just taking a few minutes to maybe just read or listen to a podcast or do something like that, going, okay, I just need to feed me, just let me take a couple minutes, and then I'm going to be okay. And really knowing, importantly, what that is for yourself is really where that becomes super powerful.
Yes. And I think sometimes we don't even recognize when we need to take care of ourselves a little bit more, because we're so busy and we're go, go, go all the time, and we just have to be on. And sometimes we forget our own selves, and that is something that I wish we could incorporate that into the business and the industry that we're in, but sometimes it's just, you don't have time to do that.
Right. Yep. Sometimes it does mean, okay, I don't have time today, but let me flip my calendar. Let me get my daily planner. I'm going to flip 2 pages over to a week or two from now. What day this week am I blocking out, or what is that? And just being intentional about it, right? It's just going, okay, I may be in a busy season. I've got to grind. I've got to do this, but I can't live like this forever. And I don't want to be here forever. So where does that look like, and how do I get off of this? And that takes us stepping out and saying, okay, this is important. I need to find that time.
Absolutely.
Jenn, I really want to thank you for coming on the show today, for encouraging us to take that time for ourselves and to invest in ourselves so that we can serve our clients well as their needs change and as we grow and adapt in our business as well. I'm really thankful for this time. I know you have a lot on your plate and everything, and for you taking your time out of today to do this. For those who want to connect, follow along, pick your brain on this kind of stuff, how best can they do that?
Well, my website is currently under construction, but they can always reach out to me through my email, dreamingtreepets@gmail.com, or they can reach out at my number is 918-691-1580. I am on Facebook, and I'm also in Instagram, so you can follow me there as well.
Hi, that's awesome. I'll have all those links in the show notes and on our website so people can click right to those. Jenn, again, I want to thank you so much for coming on the show today. Thank you.
Thank you so much for having me. It has been a pleasure, and I really enjoyed talking with you today.
I love when Jenn said that she takes a lot of pride in caring for other people's homes and their pets, and that she treats them like they're her own. Trust is the heartbeat of pet sitting and dog walking. It's what keeps clients coming back, and it's what gives us purpose on those hard days. When you treat every pet as if they're yours, your care becomes personal, not transactional. It's the difference between a service and a relationship. In a world continually filled with more and more AI and automation, relationships matter more than ever. When we build a relationship with a client, it happens through building of trust. That trust comes in not just how we deliver the service, but how we communicate that service to the client and how we make that client feel at every step along the way. My conversation with Jenn really was a reminder that compassion and professionalism should go hand in hand. We want to thank today's sponsors, Time to Pet, and our friends at Pet Perennials for making the show possible. And we really want to thank you so much for listening. We hope you have a wonderful rest of your week, and we'll be back again soon.